Okay, and we are back for another podcast talk, whatever, like this, whatever this is, episode for uh, shoot, My Hero Academia and Shaman King. You tell I've done this before, Ugh. But I guess before we get to this, we want to talk about like I guess how the podcast did in the prior week. So let me just pull those stats up real quick. I hope everybody had a productive, well, not productive, I hope everyone had a good weekend. All in all. Analytics. I don't know if I said this before, but I think we got a follower. We got another follower, so we're now at 3.
Woo woo!
Ow.
Ooh cha! Ooh,
And
ooh, cha.
it seems like we've been doing really well in some of the newer newer releases. You get Chaka. Yeah, I'm glad I moved on from that. But we seem to be doing really well from the looks of it. Episode 2 of this season hasn't been doing really that well. It's 45 days in. I think we got like 7 downloads. Day 30, there was like 4 downloads for that. So some of the older ones aren't doing so well. Yeah, episode 1 isn't doing so hot. All in all, we seem to be doing. Oh, apparently we got a download of somebody on an Android device. Okay, so we're Stitcher's working. Hallelujah! Oh, that's right. We are now on Stitcher. That took me a minute to figure out how to get that going. I still got looking to see how that works, but we're now on Stitcher, so now I can get this podcast on everywhere else you get your podcast and Stitcher. Well, I mean, we're not on every single site, and I don't think I will ever put us all out there unless it's easy to do that, and I'll probably look at it. But we're now 3 followers strong. Thank you to the 3rd follower that we had probably within the last episode we got. So thank you, everybody who's been following along with us, idiots talking about anime. And I didn't know there's anybody who would be listening to this. It actually is really humbling. I guess with that we can move on to what you're here to talk about, what you're here to listen to us talk about. We're gonna first talk about My Hero Academia. Let's see here, season 5. The episode number is well, we're at 99 episodes now. Next week, well, actually this Saturday will be their 100th episode apparently. That's an achievement.
That's very cool.
I didn't realize they were all going to be 100 episodes. Okay, that's really cool. So now we're going to talk about this. As a reminder, on last episode we watched Deku had unlocked one of the quirks from the 6 quirks that he had 7 quirks, but he unlocked one of the 7 quirks that he's gonna attain powers from. The first one being Black Whip. So now we're dealing with the aftermath of Deku getting control over it. And I guess another thing is I want to say we getting this episode we really hammer home Uraraka's involvement. Well, not hammer home, but Uraraka's involvement to helping quick thinking to save Deku. Because I didn't bring this up last time when I was ranting about how I'm afraid what they're gonna do to Uraraka's role in the future. She brings up in her past that actually I want to bring up too. I think from now on, after episodes go live, I'm gonna probably go to the manga source material to see if there's any changes done from the original manuscript. So that way I know, because I bring up that I don't know if they changed anything or if this is how they did it, how the creator did it in his original story. Based on what I can see, this episode is pretty one-to-one. The only thing I will complain about is that some of the lines weren't used as probably as an effort to speed up to keep the momentum of the episode going. Where is it? Because I think I'm looking at it right now, am I? Yeah, I think I'm looking at it right now. Yep, I'm looking at it, but Uraraka had that whole like who saves the hero thing, which is I guess is gonna be her evolution at some point, but I don't know if they're ever gonna do anything with it. I'm still afraid they're gonna do what they do to all anime females, is push into the background. But pretty much this episode is focusing on the fight between Midoriya and Shinzo, and I guess it kind of goes the way you think it would. They get into a scuffle. Everybody is Midoriya's team is keeping their odds up for winning by constantly countering Shinjo's team. And for the most part, this episode focuses on Midoriya fighting Shinzo and what's going on through their minds. Midoriya is still afraid of what happened the first time he used that quirk, and somebody suggests that are you gonna fight quirkless? No, Uraraka asks, are you gonna fight quirkless? But he says no, which is interesting. That after he lost control over the quirk for the first time in a while, he's still gonna use it.
She asked that because he gets overpowered. He gets bound by Shinzo and he pulls him to the ground, which is unheard of for somebody whose quirk is the strongest strength quirk there is. So she looked over at him and realized that he wasn't using his quirk. So she's like, "Are you not going to use it?" Because that, plus the fact that he's like, "I'm going to hurt somebody if I use it," made it maybe not his preference. So he thought about it for a minute and he said, "No, I'm going to use it."
I'm surprised to keep on with the Deku having an injury on his arm. That looks really messed up, actually. I'm looking at the episode right now. I didn't really notice that until now.
Yeah, a little bit of hamburger going on there.
Oh shoot, let me get copyrighted. Shoot. But yeah, after that we see that the other guys are fighting. This is a cool moment for Mineta. Great buckler. He ends up saving Ashido, but only because he projected that he was going to end up in her boobs after he saved her. So once again, Mineta ruining a really cool moment with his perversion. But
one stone. That's all I'm saying.
What?
2 birds, 1 stone. I don't know if she'd be my first pick for someone to hit on though.
He's looking for anyone who has a vagina and boobs. That's all he cares about.
Okay, but like her body secretes acid. What kind of vagina are we talking about here?
I don't think he cares.
I'm just saying.
Because, like, dude, he's going to hit anything that moves. That's just his motivation. He wants to be cool for girls. He wants a girlfriend so bad that he's willing to take anybody.
She didn't seem to mind. She was like, "You having fun down there?" And then she moved on with her life.
She never seemed to mind when it came to her body. But moving on. After that, we see Momo, the guy with the quirk, with the ability to take quirks. He ends up, which I was very shocked at first, because I assumed that he wasn't going to be able to copy his quirk, which I was right. It just looked like it. And he was shocked, too, that he couldn't copy it. And he was like, "Is it blank?" I was like, "Okay, well, we got that confirmation. He can't take Deku's quirk or copy it," which is good. Cause I don't know what kind of rules his quirk would apply under. But it's really odd, too, that, like, it's still kind of, like, activated a little bit. But only for him to realize that it wasn't his quirk.
I was amazed at how skilled he was at all those quirks. Like, these people trained really hard for them, but he was like pretty good at the nuances and skills of them. Like,
well, I'm
really
pretty sure they told him how they worked.
Yeah, but I mean, it's got to be really hard to like. Think of it this way: like, if you're like a stand-in actor for a small acting troupe doing a play, you need to learn everybody's. You need to learn everybody's skills. Like, you need to learn everybody's lines, everybody's characters, and stuff like that. When it comes time to be an actor, you're going to be okay, but you're not going to be as good as the main actor that dedicated their time to one skill.
Well, I mean, wasn't his whole thing this entire fight that he was a side character anyway? I mean, that was his whole shtick. This entire episode was that he was the side character, but he was going to be better than the main character. I get your point. I just feel like I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that he's aware of how his quirk works. And probably it isn't just like the quirk that he takes too. He probably takes the knowledge of how to use the quirk too.
Right.
Because it would seem kind of weird that he just takes the quirk and that's it. I feel like he would have to take the knowledge along with it. And he probably doesn't know that yet, but he'll probably learn that later on. That's probably what happens when he does do that. Because like I mean, even though he didn't take Deku's quirk, the way he activated it seemed kind of familiar to Deku too anyway. So like I feel like he must take something else along for the ride besides copying the power. I guess.
Do you think that he tried to take All Might's quirk from Midoriya?
I think he tried taking the quirk. Period. He doesn't know how the fundamentals of that thing.
It looked like he tried to he stole it and tried to use it, and then wasn't able to.
Yeah, he grabbed it. He tried to copy it, but he couldn't. It was a
blank. He called it a blank. Yeah, it wasn't that interesting because he glowed a little bit, like he might be able to use it. And then Midoriya said, "No, don't do it." He said too late, and then like he didn't have it.
Yeah, I mean he called that earlier. Momo called it earlier before the fight started that he was wondering if he could take a quirk anyway, because he was talking about Shinzo's if he could take his quirk at all.
Yeah, and it looked like it was a blank. It looked like he traded it for Kodai's size quirk, because he talked later on about how he some things reside out even after it's expired, and he used size quirk as an example. That one of the nets was still huge.
I don't know, because
we know he has a limited number of quirks, and we know that he was like loaded at the first, so it would make sense.
He used Twin Impact though.
Right, he used Twin Impact, but not Size. I think he gave up the Size quirk, kept Twin Impact, and.
But I don't think the nut. The bolt. I don't think the bolt changed size though. I think it was always. I thought it was always like as big as it. I gotta look at that. I gotta look at that part. Don't forget to that. Before you get to that, we also get the whole conflict between Midori and Shinzo is like starting to start up, and we see Shinzo. We see how Shinzo was how he learned how to use the I almost call it bondage, but
whoa,
use the wraps. And also, I brought up I think a couple videos, but like streams before that, I was wondering if if Eraserhead made that that technique up by himself, and apparently found out he did. Like that's actually quite impressive.
Right.
And Shinzo was like, it took you 6 years to learn this. Like, why do you think it would take me less? Like, but he mentioned a point that like he learned it for nothing, but he can teach what he knows to somebody else, and they can learn it much faster. And
yeah, that's a good point because he was the pioneer of the ability.
Shinzo really showed that he was like learning, and he can learn really quickly too.
Yeah, it's just like when they saw Super Saiyan 3 one time, and they were able to immediately do it in the next episode.
I don't think it was like that.
You just feel the tension.
I'm pretty sure Shinzo was learning. I think he learned what he learned in a year. He wasn't perfect at it. I think it took him a year to learn that, or 6 months. It wasn't like immediate. Not like the Super Saiyan transformation, but we're not getting Dragon Ball Super.
Right.
He's not right now anyway. But yeah, I think it took him 6 months to a year. I don't think it was an immediate learn because he had himself wrapped up in that when he was trying to use it. Speaking of the wraps, we see Deku use the Black Whip ability again for the first time after losing control over it. And he's finally got control over his breathing, only to find out that it looks like he can't maintain use of that ability using 20%. So he ends up learning that he's not going to be able to use that. He's probably not going to be able to use that part of his ability, not anytime soon. Which makes sense. He just discovered it.
Right.
But it seems kind of weird that he was able to utilize it as well as he was. Even surprised All Might.
Why did it? Does All Might even know what's going on there?
Yeah, no. What I'm saying is, like, I don't think All Might expected Midoriya to even be able to use this thing right out of the gate after losing control over it the first time it came out. I'm pretty sure All Might doesn't know anything about what's going on inside that quirk, because he never had any conversations with anybody who had it before him.
I don't know why he's not more alarmed about it. He seems like he must have some sort of
He said that his master, his master, he found out from Gran Torino. His master said he saw some people in his dreams before. He probably had some like, because I think he said something about like when Midoriya told him about like the singularity of the quirk expanding or something like that, or it wasn't time yet. So he probably had some thoughts, but it probably wasn't expecting it to manifest so early, or even in the way it did.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure he probably had some idea that something was going to happen, but I guess he just didn't expect it to be green wraps
Beyond
coming out
All
of
Might,
Deku's arm. Hmm?
beyond All Might, I think what's going to happen here is like it's going to be harder for Midoriya to not be obviously the next All Might.
I don't think he's going to be an All Might. He's just going to be the next number one hero. I don't think Deku's going out of there to be All Might. He probably did at the very beginning, but he had to learn he got to be his own hero.
Having two completely different quirks at the same time that aren't thematically or conceptually identical is really going to raise some eyebrows about what's going on with him.
I mean, they've already said that. I mean, the thing I don't know how he's going to explain it, because he didn't do a good job explaining it at the end of the episode, like what happened there.
No, he came up.
What he could say was that, you know, his powers are evolving to the point where they're doing things that he wasn't expecting.
Right.
Such as...
Well, I mean, this doesn't make sense to anybody. Like, this is like... It's not like Froppy where she can, like, camouflage and also has a weird tongue. Like, this is, like, two completely disconnected quirks that he's working with here.
Remember that Momo thing about the quirks that we're under the assumption that he can only copy 3 abilities, but it seems like he upped the amount that he can copy. You think it because I got 3 clocks and he was like, I only copy 3 quirks. Then again, he's saying that he could have just been pretending, but I can't use more than one at a time. But some of the effects remain. Things that don't affect the human body directly usually last. Coda size, for example. Yeah, but none of the like the stuff that would have been affected by that changed size when he said that. I think he was trying to like distract her, see what she was gonna do. Then after she left, he pretty much used the twin impact.
Yeah, I thought that was brilliant.
I mean, it made sense. He's smarter than he gives credit than credit's given to him. I'll say that much.
I think. Do you think anyone thought he was dumb? I don't know if they thought he was dumb. I think they just think he's like hinged. But he's.
I don't know. He's the type of character at first that he was just all talk. Like how I thought Bakugo was at the very beginning of the series until learn later on that that's not the case.
Yeah.
He can back up. He can back up all the talk.
He's very manipulative. He has very presence of mind, though. He's like, I'm not a main character. I'm a supporting character. But sometimes the supporting character is one of the best in the group. So I liked his presence of mind for understanding his role in things and how things work out. But at the same time, like, not expecting to be the forerunner in something. He placed himself really well within the team. My only, like, reluctance with him is that he's more villain-like than hero-like for the first. I've yet to see him do anything heroic.
Well, his quirk, he's already brought it up before that like him and Shinzo's quirk aren't really. For him to be effective, he can't do heroic things. His quirk really is just stealing. There's nothing he can do about it.
Shinzo has a quirk that's more consistent with a bad guy too, but he's definitely heroic with the way he's purported himself so far.
Well, I mean, it's just Momo can't. I mean, if I'm playing devil's advocate here, there's no way you can use his quirk in a heroic manner, because you have to literally go up to somebody and tap them to even take the quirk out to begin with. So you have to trick them into coming up near you. If they know that you can take their quirk, they're not gonna willingly come up to you. You're gonna have to trick them to even get near you. I don't think there's any heroic way you can be heroic way you can.
He started out by getting it from heroic from willing teammates, and then he tactically moved in. Like, you can move in tactically too. Like, if you had Grape's ability, for example, you can easily like bounce around until you can smack somebody and take their ability. Like, you saw that with
But
you
people are
saw the
aware of
Grape.
that. You're not going to be able to get near them, even tactically, because they're going to be really wary of you. Especially if your quirk's really useful, you're not going to want to be near him. If anything, they're going to be more wary of him in a close cube area versus anything else. He's dangerous, really, if you're trapped in there with him. Like, I don't really see there's like, I mean, yeah, he could ask for his teammates, but like there's only gonna be so much he can do with that because he can only copy them for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So at that point, when he's in the middle of a fight, he's gonna have a hard time.
He floated the idea that he can do it for 10 minutes now, and you don't know if he's telling the truth or not, but it's possible. And then he also floated the idea that he had multiple quirks that he could copy, and that even after the 10 minutes, some things reside a little bit longer, so it's not like exactly 10 minutes, that there's some things that have like sort of a divergent amount of like duration to how long they last. So I think that's all sort of up in the air.
I mean, yeah, we don't know what he's telling the truth about, what he's not, and I think that's just more of self-protection, really. I mean, why would you tell somebody, even if you are friends with them, like how long your quirk will last? That's more dangerous for you than it is for anybody else around you.
But it may or may not be true what it's saying, and if it is, that's data for us as viewers. It's at least something to consider.
I mean, yeah, I just don't know. We don't know because he talks a lot anyway. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, his spot in the entire fight, he already realized that they weren't going to be able to win, but he did his best to make sure that he was useful.
Right.
Even with like Shinzo, because I mean, a guy that can copy things is dangerous for a guy who can make you obey whatever he chose you to do. So he really used the fact that people were aware if he was going to be having Shinzo quirk at all. And we never got confirmation if he actually did copy his quirk. Because he played on the whole mind games thing. It was like, I feel like I still feel like with his quirk, like the best you could do in a heroic situation is like ask people if I could copy a quirk for 5 or 10 minutes. But after that, there's not much you can do heroically with his quirk.
No,
he
but
wants to be a hero. He wants to be a hero, but he knows his quirk isn't really suited for it.
Then again, Eraser is an extremely effective hero that has one of those kind of abstract quirks too,
But
and
I
has
don't think his quirk can be considered a villain ability though.
No, I can't. I'd say it's neutral, but he certainly doesn't have an ability that works against anyone that doesn't have a quirk. You know, it's dependent on someone else's quirks to be how effective it is. He basically assumes that he can overpower you, neutralize your ability.
I mean, I guess at the end of the day, for Shinzo, he would just have to build up his upper body strength, which is what Shinzo did. But like, I mean, Eraser isn't gonna involve himself with Momo. So,
yeah.
I don't know, like, where he's kind of stuck in the situation. He compared himself to Shinzo, but Shinzo's kind of get a way out.
Yeah, you're right.
About what?
You're right about Shinzo having a way out. And, like, not necessarily being restricted the same way.
I mean, it's like, if I feel like, just like, he can't... He's already established that, like people like him have to act unheroically to try to even be a hero, which is a contradiction to the entire situation. But still, like, he's well aware. I mean, he's really aware. He's really aware of where he is in the world, and he's accepted it, and he's ran with it. So much so to the point where he kind of outshined a couple people out here. Funnily enough.
Yeah, I thought he kept right up with everybody for the most part. I think he had some amateurish moves, but I think in the big picture of things, like, he's right on par with everybody else. Do you feel the same way?
I mean, when you say amateur, these are still kids in high school. Of course they're gonna be amateur. They're not pro level yet.
I know, but like the guy who copies abilities, for example, he's really you had some advanced and sophisticated understanding of his abilities. You know what I mean? He was acting like someone that's pretty close to being a pro hero already. You saw the good teamwork of Acid Girl and Grape, for example, like where the way they were working well together and using support and coordinated attacks and things like that, and like using each other's abilities to support each other and like pun intended to bounce off each other. And like I think that kind of ability is not something that Shinzo is like demonstrating yet. He's nowhere near that. But his understanding of his power and his creativity and his raw potential was definitely keeping him up with them, despite that. Whereas I think if he'd been training alongside of them, he had a good portion of them. And already he's like right up, he's hanging. You know, I just don't think he's where he's going to be. He gets the level of training. I think they have a job.
Well, I mean, Shinzo. I don't even know if Shinzo's going to be a part of this class because I remember seeing this. I remember him passing, but I don't think I got a confirmation that he got transferred into Hero 1A or 1B. But I mean, yeah, Shinzo's well aware of his shortcomings. I mean, he's also very upset.
He passed the test, though.
Huh?
At the end of the episode, they tell him he passed the test.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that he got transferred in. He got a passing grade. I don't think that. I think they're looking for outstanding. Because I mean, it looked like from the way he looked at the situation, he even told Eraserhead straight up that this is probably just a test for me to see where I stood, right? And he's like, I mean, yeah, like that was the whole point of this.
His exact words were something like, "That's enough." Like you did well enough. Like I don't think he was like, "You passed the test with flying colors," but I don't think we've never seen someone pass something in this series and not move on. You pass something, that's it. That's the way this world works, especially with him.
But you don't know if that was the only prerequisite for him to get transferred in there. Because we already know Eraserhead likes to keep things from people. He's never straightforward.
You're right, but Eraserhead also has a big soft spot for this guy. I don't think he's gonna like mess with him in that way. I think he's gonna be pretty straightforward about. I
didn't see a confirmation that he got transferred into, because at least if he got transferred, he would have told him what class he would have got transferred into at that point, but he didn't. All he said that was enough, and he was frustrated with his inability to like stand on his own. But unfortunately, with a quirk like his, he's not gonna really be a stand on his own just yet.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, but I think that you also have to think about this from like a writer's perspective. Like they can only like establish so much in one episode. They have a million other things going on. Like they want to give you a reason to watch the next episode. You know what I mean? Like I think they want to leave a little bit untold so watch more shows.
They already got me 5 seasons in. What more do they need to know that I'm not going to go anywhere?
Well, we think we've already got us 5 seasons in, but like the directors are thinking. I mean, the producers and people that pay for season renewals and stuff are more like, "What have you done for?" If they do fantastically for 4 seasons, and then the 5th season's not that great, they're not going to. That's just how this works. So they need you excited and baited along the entire season, just.
Yeah, but the concept, I can just go read the manga. But hey, welcome to the podcast and stream, Diggs, BTW. But with that, I guess we can wrap this episode up with like they pretty much as the episode ends, we start seeing everybody get wrapped up. Essentially, class 1B Midoriya's team wins the round. Albeit with some like injuries, which is not to be unexpected considering that Midoriya kind of almost demolished the entire arena by himself and hurt Uraraka in the process. But
so we're not going to talk about Uraraka and like how incredible she was this episode.
I mean, like this is to be expected from you from Uraraka. I mean, not much I can say about her. Yeah, I mean, she pretty much caught Momo and took him into the jail and dispatched Poacher Girl really quickly. Like this is like the Dragon Ball Z move to chop the neck. That was it.
Yeah, and she used gunmetal to save Midoriya, and she almost sacrificed herself to save Midoriya in a great show of heroism. She was very debatably the MVP here.
I mean, Arisa said that she's matured, which I mean, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm still worried. Like, I'm more worried about her future, and maybe I shouldn't be, but at the same time, I'm still worried because she is the main heroine of the show, and
In
typically
retrospect, in
they are debatably important, but she hasn't shown that much importance recently.
in retrospect, looking back, who do you think the MVPs of the entire tournament were?
One MVP or multiple?
For the whole tournament, across the whole tournament, Class A, who do you think the three most valuable players were? I have a really clear idea in my mind of who I think the top three were.
I wasn't paying that much attention to like who's. I mean, I would. Let's see here. I would argue Bakugo just flat out because he destroyed that thing. His round.
Bakugo's one of my three.
Well, Froppy because of how well she fit into her round.
Yeah, Bakugo, Froppy, and Uraraka, in my opinion, were the three most effective people in Class A in this tournament. And I'm not saying that as a Froppy fan. I'm saying she really just knocked it out of the park when she was out there.
I mean, with my concerns aside, I mean, Uraraka definitely did help out here a lot more than the other. Who's even else? Oh yeah, Ashido and Mineta. I forgot about them.
Midoriya was very often a liability, and if his ability had been copyable instead of a blank, which was sort of like just dumb luck for him, he didn't know that it was a good blank. Like,
it was interesting. I just thought about this. I wonder why when he tried copying his ability, he didn't copy the whip.
Because it's all Might now.
No, but did he copy that before he woke it up, or did he copy it after he woke it up?
He copied it right afterwards, I thought. Maybe he didn't try to use the whip. But the point is, if he had taken that, they probably would have lost. So the fact that he didn't take it, like, was more of a stroke of luck than anything. Midoriya was, like, more of a liability than an asset in the fight. His ability was going wild and firing off unpredictably. He almost gave them the ability they needed to take over, take the win in this. He wasn't terrible, but he wasn't, like, the MVP of this match at all, in my opinion. He was the biggest factor, but he wasn't the MVP. He didn't. I
wasn't saying that he was the most valuable player. I'm just saying that I was more thinking about like the consequences of Momo's copying ability, and also like, I mean, I think what to learn that One for All is more than just what we've seen of it at this point anyway. Considering that, like, I think we both stated, we both agreed that this ability is like an Avatar situation, but we have yet to learn the full scope of what it is entirely.
It was funny when I was
watching. Mentioned what?
It was funny when I was watching this with Jesse. I said, "First chakra unlocked" when he got this.
Oh dear.
Kind of true.
I hate you, but I know it's true.
That's what it felt like.
Well, I mean, in Avatar, like, Aang forced those things open. Like, Deku accidentally broke one. Because, like, I mean, like, the guy said that, what were you thinking when you were trying to use One for All? He said, I have to capture Momo. They capture somebody, right? You're lucky that mine was the one that woke up. And I was like, does that mean, like, I always thought about it as, like, if Deku's subconscious knew he needed something to help him capture him, And so far, hitting him with Delta Force wasn't gonna be able to capture him. It was gonna probably turn him into a gimp. So one of the people apparently, I'm wondering what's going on inside that quirk when he's using it. Like, are these people just like watching him fight? Because that guy seemed really aware of the situation. These are my questions now that I have, that I'm caught up with everything that I know in the anime, because I haven't read past this point. I'm fighting the urge to do so. But I'm respecting your wishes.
I definitely got the impression that they'd seen some shiz when they were watching him. I mean, they were taking it very much in stride. I agree with you.
I just don't know like what would have happened if he didn't wake up, like, because he made it seem like because of how much power was cultivated over 8 successors, that his quirk isn't the only one that got supercharged. This quirk was already broken. It's gonna get broken times 4 the moment that Deku unlocks all the abilities inside of it. I'm actually kind of curious. I wonder like how Deku. So I wonder if the percentages are gonna be, because Deku said he's gotta learn to master 20% before he can go any further. So are the percentages gonna be what dictates the next power to unlock?
It's like power levels. His power level is over 9,000!
Well, I mean, he's gonna get to 100%, and that's about it. Like, it's not gonna go over it. Well, I mean,
So,
I say that, then he did 1 million before, but I think according to Crater, that he was just amping himself up. He wasn't using 1 million%.
If you can't do more than 20%, how do you know what 100% is?
Well, Deku does have like 100%.
Have a training box that he punches to like see if like his pressure versus now versus 100%? Like, isn't 100% kind of a moving target based on like your physical like condition and your
Are you asking how Deku knows how much he's using of the power?
Yeah, like it's
how does I don't know. Like, I think it's ambiguous.
8% sounds like
well, didn't the first guys the first wielder of the power, didn't he tell him that he couldn't wield more than 20% or something like that? Or he just got up to 20%?
Yeah, and like when I hear 20% or something like that, I think okay, they just like using a round number. But like when you know the difference between 8% and 10%, then it starts getting a little silly to me. Like if you're just like, oh, I only use 10% of my value, like it sounds like an estimate. Like, oh yeah, I'm just kind of like 10% or so.
Obliterate his arm if he, or obliterate his foot in this case, if he uses more than he can handle.
How, Jeremy? How do you know if when your physical body is at 8%? Do you look at like a rock and say, I would need to use 8% of my strength to like lift that rock?
I mean, it's just an estimate, but I mean,
that's what I mean. Like as an estimate, if someone says 20%, then I can accept that as an estimate, like a casual. Oh, I'm using like 20%. Just like when someone lifts something and says that's like not even half my strength or something.
But dude, like you're talking about numbers in a fictional world, in a fictitious world where like 95% of the people have superpowers. I think it is safe to assume that maybe he knows what 8% and then 20% feel like. You talk about a fictitious world where people have had abilities for years, generations.
I don't know what 8% of my power is like.
So, I mean, what do you say? Like, so where do you think Deku is right now, in terms of how much power he has? Then, if you had to like put a number on it, or like a level, like a.
You have to assume he's right, but at the same time, power levels are bullshit.
I don't know if there's a power level. That's just how much of the ability he's been using.
I know, but you know what I mean.
I can see power levels. I was talking about power levels the next 2 episodes we're going to review for Shaman King, but.
I was quoting Team 4-Star when I said power levels.
Yeah, I decided to ignore it.
It's the same basic concept though. Like it's a made up thing for plot convenience, but like we have to assume that they're telling the truth. But like it's just so unrealistic.
I mean, the question I just basically asked was like, I feel like they're going to use this as a way to unlock more powers, because like right now, Deku unexpectedly out of nowhere grew a new arm. what are they going to use to dictate the next time he's going to grow another arm? There's nothing around to dictate that. Deku doesn't know what he's going to be able to pull out of this magic sack. It sounds really gross, but still, like essentially his ability has become a magic bag. You don't know what he's going to pull from it, but the moment he knows what's in it, he's going to be able to use it whenever he gets trains with it.
Yeah.
But I have to believe that Deku knows the difference between 8% and 20%. Because I will say it's a random number. I'm not going to disagree with that 20 is a random number. Because why did he go 20%? Why didn't he go 50 or something like that? But I think this is as much as he can control. Because he's used 100% a lot of times. He used it, almost killed himself the first time he used it. He used it with Eri as a way to rewind the damage he's doing to himself when he went full like ham on not Shigaraki, Chisaki, Chisaki, overhaul. I was gonna call him overhaul, but he used 100% of his power all and went all ham on him. Man was kicking air above his below his feet. He couldn't do that before. The closest he could do to flying was just jump really hard.
Hmm.
So the abilities that he was displaying, I would say, be a good indicator of how much power he's using. Now, who's to say he can't kick? He couldn't kick air beneath his feet with 50%. I have no idea. Um, so far that like arbitrary number at 20%, he couldn't even handle it when he first started using it. And he's only recently started getting to the point where it doesn't hurt him as much. But Deku knows his limit when it comes down when it hurts him. He's doing better about listening to his body and when it creaks. He's gonna kill himself before he becomes number one if he keeps doing what he's doing right now. I guess speaking of people seeing, I'm wondering what Bakugo's thinking right now because you saw his expression when it happened. First expression of surprise on anybody's face. I got to think like this nerd was holding back on me. That was the exact thing I was thinking. He was thinking too. He was like, "This nerd was holding back on me."
Totally.
Then they
This
just
is
kind
like
of mend that relationship. Now I was like, I didn't even know it was there. Lies, lies, subterfuge. I didn't know it was there. Gosh.
Midoriya's like, this isn't even my final form.
Oh dear, no. Moving on, we're done with my hero. We're gonna the next episode. I have no idea what it is, but it will be continuing. Because I think I'm hearing a lot of people say the next arc that's coming up is gonna be really good, and a lot of people have been waiting for it. So we'll see what it's about when it comes up. With that, we can now move on
It looks
to.
like he's gonna get a new power next time, or they're at least gonna
I don't think
explore
he's
it.
going to get another power because this too soon. He doesn't have full control over the one he just awoke.
He just said he's not going to be able to use it for a long time. It seemed more like a teaser of something later.
He's not going to be able to use it like for a long time from now, is what he said.
But the next episode's title is The New Power.
That's probably the power he just woke up, and he's going to try to learn how to control it. Because Deku's thinking about the here and now versus the later. He's trying to figure out how he can like utilize what he got now. I know he's aware of the new abilities, but I don't think he's concerned about that. He wants to be able to control the two he's got right now.
So you focus on the things directly in front of you. That's good.
Okay, that was apparently a what's the word I'm looking for?
Shaman King quote.
Well, not that. It was more like what's the word you use when you're trying to like connect two subjects at the same time?
Troll.
What?
Bridge. Bridge.
No, not that word.
Transition.
Yeah, transition. I don't know why I couldn't think of that word. Jeez. But with that, we can now talk about Shaman King in the next two episodes, and a lot happened in episodes 5 and 6. So much so that the tournament in this particular series has just started. We have one tournament-esque thing end, and we have another one begin. But this one's going to be the entire show. Again, I want to preface that this show, albeit is new in 2021, this show as old and as been this the manga this is based off has ended years ago. Albeit I don't know the ending. I only watched the original anime that a lot of people did not like. So with that, we're gonna focus on episode 5, and pretty much that one starts off really funny. I'm surprised they decided to go a slice of life route, but they did. Uh,
It was time for a slice of light route.
well, it didn't last long because
They've been packing so many new characters into such a small amount of time. They haven't had time to like establish how they interact with each other and what they're like in a way. Like this is like building up character dynamics and getting you to buy into the storyline more than if they were just like, connected fight scenes. Like this is a really important time for.
I don't know. I mean, we've seen Ryu and Anna and Yo and Manta interact with each other
I mean, they
like
didn't
before
even
this.
know that. They didn't even know that like Pompadour Man can see the ghost. Like the
Once
ghost.
after, I
Like
mean, according to Anna, like typically, like if you get possessed, you might have latent abilities, which is why Yo said you should have been paralyzed for a week. he was only he was only down for a day.
it also served to do some important recapping. I think. Like I think they reviewed a lot of the concepts going on here, and like they were about to do a lot of new stuff. To introduce characters and a lot of new concepts and the storyline forward in a big way. So I think they really to like be reminded of important concepts, to like learn how the characters interact with each other. I don't think they're going to have this kind of time for slices of life in this kind of way for a long time now. So I think jump in.
I mean, I wasn't saying it was a bad time. I was just saying it was just kind of weird. I wasn't expecting them to, because Ryu kind of popped up out of nowhere. I mean, Ryu's been there since episode 1, but they kept on bringing him back in and bringing him back out. So I guess like now this is where we're going to see him for the majority of the part. But I already know what's going to happen with his character because I already know exactly what. Again, watch the original anime, so a lot of stuff is going to start coming back to me the more I start watching these episodes. But I already know his role based on what I saw last time. Unless that was an American thing or an anime only thing, I had no idea yet. I know this is supposed to be based off the manga, 100%. So I guess I'll find out if he's supposed to be what I think he's supposed to be. But yeah, I mean they have like they pretty much like established Ryu is gonna be the cook in their house, which is actually kind of funny. They also find that Anna has a funny side to her too, in terms of like she apparently likes dressing up, I think, or like being a lot of things. She wants to be like an innkeeper. It was really weird, but I guess we found out that she has some comedy to her too. I guess we found out a lot more about her too in this episode and how she thinks about Yo and like what she thinks about Yo and why she's wants to be with him, even though like Yo seems to be like a lazy, uh, doesn't want to do much of anything type of guy. We learn that that's actually just how he's been, and it's not truly all he's about. He just likes focusing on what pretty much what you said earlier. Like he likes focusing on the here and now, which you learned that when he pretty much Selva, the tournament officiator, finds him for the first time when Yo is taking a break from training in the park. And we meet him because he's apparently a jeweler dude, street vendor. Um, kind of weirdly enough, we also see that he apparently was a shaman the entire time too, which they didn't hide for too long because we see he has an eagle spirit. Uh, but Prince later on, we see Yo like in Mansa in the graveyard looking up at the sky. Prince finds him. Actually, no, it's Yo and Minamaru, not Yo and Mansa, but Yo and Minamaru. And Minamaru's having a I can't even call it a midlife crisis, like an afterlife crisis at this point. He's concerned like if he like he may be really strong, but he can't get any stronger. But Yo kind of just reassures him that he's as strong as he's gonna need to be, and he's perfect the way he is, which is kind of funny. But I guess strong as a human ghost can be. We'll get to that later. But I guess for the concepts and everything like that, Silva, introducing to Silva, we find out that well, he has like a total impulse spirit. I kept on looking at the wording he was going with, and I know he had like 5 spirits, but I feel like he was referring to them all as one spirit. Because it looked like they were based on a totem pole, because he also looks like he was based off a Native American tribe. Which wouldn't be too far from the realm they have set up here. I guess what do you think of Silva as the tournament officiator and what he did here as a whole?
What do I think of it?
Like, what do you think of him?
I think he's really interesting. I like the build of the personality. I liked his serious and savage side, but he felt like a shaman to me. Like he had that carefree undertone that the not evil shamans seem to have. I liked that he had that also, like along with that carefree undertone, he also had that like that hard side to him where he was willing to kill the guy if it's out and bring that out. And even like saying like if you don't do it now, you're gonna have to wait 500. Just showing up out of nowhere and being like, you better be ready. But like he was like a really strong, consistent character, but I felt like he had a slight preference for our protagonist here. I think he liked him.
I'm pretty sure that was the case because like we learned later that there's each shaman participant gets their own security guy or whatever they were, because each one gets their own officiator. So I mean, it would make sense that he had some bias. I mean, they bring up the fact that he has bias and stuff like that, but based on that, I mean, the old lady, I guess who's the chieftain of everybody, didn't seem that concerned. I mean, like we're kind of like one of the participants, one of the officiators was killed by Tal Ren, which isn't a shocker.
So should we refer to him from now on as North Kai?
No, he's not gonna teach. I mean, the only thing he taught him was that he can like manifest his soul, his spirit into the sword.
So sort of like
no,
sort of like
no,
Trunks.
no, 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 no. He's so trying to say spirit bomb. I know he was going. Like I wasn't letting him. I was purposely not letting him. But I guess speaking like of him teaching, I mean I guess it was some Dragon Ball Z. I mean I recognize some of the Dragon Ball Z. I honestly compare him more to Piccolo, considering how much versatility it seemed that he had, and how knowledgeable. I guess you could say he could be compared to a Kai, but he's more useful than a Kai. I don't know how.
The Kai and the fact that they each have like kind of a champion under the wing.
But basically, he told Yo that in order for him to be an official participant, he needed to be able to scratch him. So he essentially was baiting Yo, getting to see where Yo stood, and slowly but surely revealing tidbits about the fight that Yo didn't know, which is kind of funny that he'd never mocked him for not knowing either. Except the spirits did. The spirits definitely mocked Yo most of the time. But pretty much he's pretty much a higher level tier shaman than Yo, and Yo is learning that he can't scratch him because the turtle shell that he had, or he couldn't catch up to him because of the was it the bull feet or was it the horse?
It looked like a bull to me.
What was the spirit that he used to move fast? Was that the bull or was that the horse?
The bull. Or there was a fox too, wasn't there?
I thought that was a wolf.
A wolf? Yeah, you're probably right. It's a wolf. It would be a wolf. Maybe what we thought was a bull was a buffalo because they seem to be taking Native American symbolism. Turtles, eagles.
He has a snake, a turtle, an eagle. I guess that's a wolf.
Native Americans believe the turtles held up the earth. So wolves are significant, eagles are significant. I don't know so much about snakes, but snakes are almost always significant in mythology. So I imagine the last one just to keep with the Native American symbology.
Actually, that could be a buffalo. I don't like counting the turtle is on his thumb. That thing on his ring finger must be the buffalo.
Yeah, but a buffalo and a bison are pretty damn close to.
Oh, I know. I mean, it was something that they revered.
Right, But when I said bison, I meant pretty much things.
I guess that must have been that then. Okay, I wasn't sure what was it he used to move fast.
You know that bison and buffalo are basically.
Discord has disagreements with you because every time you try to say that, it cuts you out.
Oh, I keep saying the word bison, bison. You know that bison and a buffalo are basically the same thing, right?
You're trying to say the same thing because it cut out that word. It literally cut out the word I
Yeah,
was saying.
they're basically interchangeable.
I mean, okay, I didn't know that. I don't think it really matters in this contest because I really didn't know what he was because we couldn't even see him wherever he was on his body. We only ever saw his eyes. We didn't know
What
what he
did the
looked like as a full form.
what did the buffalo's dad say when he went to college?
Charge it?
Bye, son.
That was a horrible joke. And I got a good feeling you're going to say that to your son the moment he goes to college. I feel sorry for him. But yeah, we see that pretty much he's a higher tier shaman. He also introduced the concept of, and I've been waiting for this because I think I mentioned this last time. I was wondering when they're going to introduce what the energy source of this world was. Uh, Furi Kuri, or the simply put it, shaman energy. And essentially, what the shamans use to be able to cause a spirit to physically manifest.
So key.
I'm calling it shaman energy because that's what it's called here. In basic essence, yes, it is key. You can compare everything that has an energy source to key. It's annoying a lot of times too, but yes, if you want to dumb it down that further, yes. I don't think you gain shaman energy the same way you gain ki, but we'll find out. But since he teaches Yo that he can like pretty much put his spirit into something that is linked to him in his past life, which is kind of cool. Essentially, he jammed him into the Murasama and pretty much gained like a giant spirit bomb, like spirit over his sword, which amplified apparently his the power of the blade. And because of it, Yo also managed to reveal that he managed to memorize a move of Minamaru's by muscle memory, which is quite interesting. Essentially, Yo tries to put a dent on him before he does this. After he gains this new ability, this power up, he essentially cuts the headband off of the Silva, thus getting him entry into the tournament.
Yeah, it was funny how far ahead this guy is than him because like he cut the band off and the guy just put a new one on. He had no damage to his actual body. It was sort of like I don't know, like it was. If he didn't want this guy to pass already, he didn't really cut him.
Well, he said just to damage him somehow. I don't think he really meant. He never said that he had to make him bleed.
He didn't damage him. He just cut his clothes.
I think that's damage.
Yeah, but you have to want him to win to count that.
I don't know about that really, because like I mean, he made a big deal. He made a big deal out of what Tao Ren did to his.
Did Hercule Satan hurt Cell?
I'm not even gonna talk about that man. He doesn't exist.
Because Hercule was going on and on and on at Cell, and then he said like, you hear Cell's thoughts, and he goes, "Ignorance is painful." Because technically, Hercule caused more pain to him than this guy. There's no damage to his body.
I don't think he. Did he say damage his body, or did he just say put some damage on him?
He said, "Cut me."
And he cut him, alright, because he cut the headband off. I don't think it really matters. If he actually said cut his body, then I would agree with you.
Him. It's not him.
Technically speaking, that technically is him because the headband would be a part of him.
It's not a part of him.
Are you sure?
Yes, you're not like it's not his biologically generated headband.
I'm not saying that, but some people put like significance on clothing and stuff like that as it being a part of them. Like, there are some religious people who have that belief. I don't know if he has that belief, but he also seems to have the whole hate of like causing bodily harm to people. So I don't know if like you can really consider that he said, yeah, he has some bias towards him, all right, but I don't think it's bias enough because he didn't pull any punches on him. The man literally sent him flying several times over. Even the spirits wanted to leave at that point. He was clearly stronger than him.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some bias, but I don't think that bias led to him. You can say I pretty much believe that like I don't think he intended to let Yo hurt him anyway, even if he was getting close to actually cutting him. I think he just wanted to show that he could do that move. Because we learned that later on in the next episode that apparently you got to be able to do an oversoul, is what they call that, to even be able to participate in the tournament.
If you say so. I don't know. I think it's at least ambiguous. I think if he didn't want him to win, he said, well, you didn't cut me. And if he did want him to win, it would count. But I think it would, I think it could have, you have to at least admit that to some degree it could have gone either way. It could have, you didn't cut me.
I would agree with you if he actually said, say, cut him. He didn't, I don't think he said, cut his body, and I think he's, he could make the argument if he had said cut his body, which he did not say. He did not say those exact words.
Alright.
I'm just gonna go back real quick to see.
I didn't set you off again, did I?
No, just going back just to look at something real quick. I'm not gonna spend the entire week festering over this, if that's what you're saying.
I don't know, I get you started sometimes.
This is how much like anime. You don't understand. Wait, I've completely missed it. What did he say to him? I guess the other thing too is like, I mean, if you want to make that argument, like I'm pretty sure the Great Spirit didn't mind because like I mean like they made a big argument about that after Tal Rooney killed his person, like why didn't the Great Spirit intervene? So I care. I think even if he did let him go, the whole like cutting his headband shouldn't have counted. The Great Spirit didn't care.
Yeah.
They keep bringing that thing up. You just need injure me with one strike. Okay. He said injure him, so. Man, I'm not gonna deny that he didn't have any bias towards him. I mean, I already admitted that a long time ago.
He wanted him to win. I mean, if nothing else, he stood there and coached him on how to damage to him.
I mean, even that, I don't think, like, I think Yo would have discovered it at some point. I mean, Yo appears to be dumb at first look, but you find out he's actually really intelligent.
I've never thought Yo was dumb. I've always thought that everybody thinks he's dumb, but I've never thought he was dumb or lazy.
Dude, he just wants to have a simple life. He doesn't want to do anything. He doesn't even have a job. He literally said, "Oh, the job is boring. I don't want to do that." Man, literally said that.
He reminded me too much of Kino. Like, right from the beginning, he reminded me of Kino with her attitude about the world. I mean, Kino sort of doesn't have a job either, and she could be respected, village to village, and usually staying for free where she goes.
Yo didn't want to do anything. His grandfather was slapping him around because he didn't want to do anything. At least Kino was traveling around with that stupid talking bike. She was driving around with that bike. She was doing things. She had ambition. She wanted to leave the village because she wanted to see the outside world. Yo didn't have any ambition.
She has the same kind of humanity and her same kind of like willingness to be optimistic and talk to anybody about anything, and to let things kind of fall off her the way he does. And like she doesn't not care, but she lets things fall off, and she has that also that has to get very serious all of a sudden. When the time is right. And she's not dumb either. And I just don't think, even though like there's moments where she seems kind of dumb or naive in the series for like a moment, and you have to try to figure out what's going on with that. Like, she's not dumb, and she's actually brilliant. not dumb. I think he's pretty.
Okay, maybe I shouldn't use the word dumb, but he like very very laid back, and I still think he's lazy. I mean, not lazy in the sense of like not lazy in the sense of like how he was before. More like he like nothing seems to really phase him unless he's in the middle of a fight, and like he's still on his whole like I wanna do nothing. Is why I want to become the Shaman King. I mean, he even brings up the fact that how petty like how petty that outlook is why he wants to, because in the next episode he comes across the first shaman in the tournament that he has to fight, and his name is Horu Horu, and apparently he's a part of a tribe of Inu, Ainu. I mean, like whatever they are, they're like an ancient Japanese people that build houses like tiny huts for spirits to live in, and we see this play out here too. That his guardian spirit happens to be a nature spirit, a female nature spirit that doesn't talk, that also apparently is in love with Manta. I thought that was funny. It was very odd and kind of out of nowhere, but I mean, I think it was on brand for the show.
Yeah, I thought that fit in really well.
But I guess speaking of that, I brought up before that like Amita Mara is like the strongest human samurai ghost. They actually bring this up here that his spirit in the classification of how spirits work in this world apparently, his spirit outclasses Amita Maro basically because it's a nature spirit and it isn't like it isn't like a human ghost. I thought that was interesting. So they're setting up the types of ghosts that exist in this world, which is really cool. I think he called her a holy spirit. Is what he called her.
Yeah, I noticed that they keep saying holy. I bet that doesn't. If they translate this to English someday, I bet that doesn't survive the translation.
Um. Well, I would say I would make the argument that yes, it will, but no. Actually, I can actually make a good comparison of this. In Digimon, there is a Digimon that digivolves to an angel. One of the forms in Japanese is called Holy Angemon. That didn't survive the translation.
Yeah, but I mean, to literally call something a holy spirit is gonna.
I feel like
That's
they're
not.
gonna have to though for a show like this. That's
They'll
just
probably
me.
they'll probably say sacred spirit.
No, I still think they're gonna probably use the word holy because, like, I mean, like, this isn't like this. The thing that Shaman King 2020 has going for it versus Shaman King, I think 1999, is that the people are a little bit more accepting of things. Even people of the Christian faith um are more accepting of things. Now, I will say that maybe like there's still a 50% chance that you're right that you might call it sacred, or they might even call her, they might just call her a spirit, but that's another thing too you gotta watch out for. The main reason why the creator of the show even thought this series allowed it to come back was that he didn't want things to be changed. Just it was the same problem that Fullmetal Alchemist had, where so many things were changed. It's one of the main reasons why dub and sub have such a story history of each other, because things leave Japan and they lose their meaning. Um, Now, I will say there are ways to save that meaning, but sometimes the creator wants to keep the original story unaltered, and it's kind of an insult to go either way to alter something because of an outside audience, which I understand why they do it, but at the same time, like I kind of understand, like if you make something, you want it to be unaltered once it leaves your hands and leaves the surrounding area that you're a part of. So I mean, they could call it a sacred spirit, but I mean, for right now, I don't think it's gonna get dubbed. I actually don't think it's gonna get. I mean, if it gets dubbed, I'll be surprised. Because I don't know how well Shaman King did a long time ago, but I don't think it did well enough over here.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's ever gonna get dubbed. I mean, if it does, I'd be shocked. Um,
It personally, it's my least favorite of the series you recommended to me, but I could see it. I could see it appealing to like the Full Metal Alchemist crowd.
that just disappoints me a little bit, but I mean, I had opened my mind to the possibility this wasn't gonna be your favorite thing in the world. But
I don't dislike it. I'm just not excited about it. Like you've shown me like some home run series, and it's not a home run. I don't dislike it.
I mean, everyone's gonna be a home run jock, and plus this show. I guess for me, I got more nostalgia. I got more nostalgia for this series because I never finished it. Like I never finished the original story. I watched the anime and that was about it. And apparently, from what I understand, the anime from a long time ago, the one I watched, didn't follow. It broke off after a certain point, so the story never got told. And this anime for me is is an amazing feat because the creator said that he wasn't going to allow it to happen if it didn't follow the story. And some people may say that's a bad thing for a creator to get involved in something like this, but I don't think that's a bad idea. They have the rights to this the series. Why shouldn't they be involved in the making of the animated product?
Right.
So like I mean I was surprised that they even greenlit this to begin with because of the issues that apparently this studio that animated the original had. But with that, I already mentioned that like one of like the officiators got killed by Tyrant Silva. X finds us out, and we see more of that emotional side of Silva. So like I can't wait to see more of that particular character in the future and see what his role is going to be. I don't think it's going to be much considering he's supposed to be one of the adults in this series, and most of the times adults in anime don't do much unless they're a part of a huge or bigger conflict.
Yeah.
But he seems to have a grudge against the Great Spirit because the Great Spirit didn't get involved with Tauren's fight and let him be a part of the tournament. Uh, with that being said, we come back to Horo and Yo fighting, and keep going on with that same concept that all shamans are probably the same. Horo, we find out has a dream to make a what was it, like a butter leaf? I forgot what he called it.
A what?
I forgot what he called it. It was like he wanted to make a field of plants for some reason, so that way his spirit could like propagate and more spirits like her could survive.
I don't know.
I guess while I'm looking for that, they have a little gag where like they're surprised that Yo and Anna are married. I guess before that, Anna, like he was asking what she was doing here. He said, "I'm the Shaman King's fiance," and he was like, "Wait, you're gonna be my wife?" I was like,
Right.
so I hope they do that gag more often because
I
it
love how
actually
we
could work.
because he's like, "Is this true?" And he's like, "I guess so."
The spirit that she is the Koru Pokoru, which is little people, translated little people. They live under butterbur leaves, which are plants that they that essentially, I guess, help propagate their Can I call them a species? I don't know if I call them a species, but like there are a lot of them apparently because of I guess it's another thing. This kind of gets into the real world in terms of like spreading a message that progress is killing the lands which these little guys live in, and making it hard for the even people to talk with them and protect them as well. So he's hoping to become Shaman King so he can make an entire field of these leaves so they can live in prosperity, which isn't a bad dream to have.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Now I know what you mean. I didn't interpret those as leaves. I interpret them as flowers or like
Well, they're
plants.
called. I mean, on here I'm looking at it. There's people under butterbur leaves.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I wondered if that. I almost googled it to see if that was. It's a real plant.
I mean, yeah, these things are, I think, real. Like the Innu people are real people. Like they're like an
It's
ancient people in Japan. I don't know
yeah,
if they
but
still live, but they're an
it's a
ancient.
flower. It's a flowering plant. So when I heard butterbur, like you were saying leaves, and that was what threw me off. I mean, obviously the plant comes with it's a whole plant with flowers and stuff like that too. But yeah, the leaves with thing with home.
Well,
So
I
I
mean,
could
in the anime, you can see that there are flowers around there. I would just call them what he called them.
yeah, but that was what threw me off because I heard butterbur and I thought it was a plant. But he was using the term he was using metonymy to describe the situation, which is when you refer to something by a very like prominent part of it. Like if you were gonna like hire some thugs, you'd say hire some muscle. Or if you were talking about the king and crown. Those would both be. So when he's referring to case autonomy, because referring to the whole plant, but find that they can somehow be separate.
I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying. Um, Actually, I want to look something up. Are these spirites? Are they real? Is that their actual name? Because I'm actually interested. Cory Porcor. It looks like a. Yep, they are. That is literally what they call it. Cora Porcor. Porcor. Koru Porkuru. Yeah, that's their actual name. And the images are actually very faithful to what they do in the anime. It just looks more anime because of it. Oh, they actually make little dolls out of these guys. Your race of small people in folklore are the Anu people of the northern Japanese islands. The name is traditionally analyzed as tripartite compound of coral, butterbur plant, poke, under, below, and cur or cur, a person. So a little person under butterbur leaf is what that literally translates to.
Uh-huh. I like the
And
name Kuro.
actually, it's Anu lands. I don't know if these people are still around. But apparently they were in Japanese islands. So I don't know if these people are still around. I think it's kind of the situation of like the ancient Aztecs. The people still believe that they're around and whatnot. We just don't know it. Um, they live in pits with roofs and made from butter broilers. Yeah. So essentially, like I wonder if there's any fill to these things anymore. This is gonna go to this whole thing that I like that this anime kind of pulls from like you learn about a lot of like religions from this thing.
Yeah.
Official estimates place the total Anu population of Japan at 25,000. Unofficial estimates place the total of 200,000 or higher. As the near total assimilation of the Anu in Japanese society has resulted in many individuals of Anu descent having no knowledge. Oh, well, that's kind of sad. Oh, they could be Russian too? Oh, that's
Oh,
their
that's
language. No, they can speak Russian. Modern day. Sorry, this is like happens. I learn about certain things. I look into things, but But yeah, we learned about these guys. His guardian spirit, and he calls her a holy spirit. I think they actually explain what that means in this show. I introduced my guardian spirit. Yeah, that's. Wait, where it is? She. Did he really call her holy spirit? I saw higher spirit. Maybe he didn't call her holy.
No, they said holy somewhere.
In other words, we use our shaman powers to communicate with nature. She's a nature spirit. She's a sprite. I think the best way to put it, she's a sprite.
Well, yeah, some sort of fairy creature or fey creature.
Just looking for the exact wording he uses. Oh, that's right. He also mistakes Manta for being a being a Kokoro.
That's so mean.
We mean to the spirit or mean to Manta?
Mean to him.
I mean, most people are mean to him though, and he just takes it.
Yeah, he doesn't take it. He gets mad. It's just he can get mad all he wants. Never very much.
It's like looking for the exact wording, but I think I saw higher spirit. Integrate Koro the Koko. Yeah, I guess each shaman has their own like little like weapon that they use, and his horror spirit like weapon was his snowboard, which is interesting. That Prince allows him to fly, and his ability has a lot to do with ice. That's what I wanted to say. Is Dragon Ball Z reference. Like this guy by the end of it reminded me of Yamcha. But I don't know if that's a good thing.
Which guy reminded you of Yamcha?
Horo, the guy who was fighting in episode 6. The ice dude.
Oh, I guess. He's a really nice guy. I really like this.
Yeah, I mean Yamcha's a nice guy too.
Yeah, but Yamcha's kind of a tool. Kind of a tool
I
at the
mean,
end.
I think this guy will show himself to be a tool later on. Just gonna, just. I mean, he's also very strong too, and Yamcha was very strong too up to a certain point. I mean, I hope that the same fate doesn't befall him. Considering that he also has like a little sister who I guess trains him in the pits of hell like Anna does to Yo. I was actually quite shocked that he had a little sister. I was like, oh, he has a little sister. Weird that they decided her to bring her along, and also she does the same thing Anna does to Yo. This is getting out of hand. The women in this show really, really like titles. I'm noticing they really freaking do.
They're all about the label.
Did you say they're all about the label?
All about the labels, but yeah, I meant label.
Oh, okay. I don't know what. Like I'm waiting because I'm looking at it right now as I talk, but like, yeah, you see them fighting back and forth. They actually seem really evenly matched. I mean, Yo's able to block all the attacks that he's able to pull off. Even able to block, even able to not block it, but like survive his ultimate attack.
Yeah, but you saw that coming. This
I
whole
didn't really
fight,
see Avalanche coming. I mean, so him surviving it. I mean character stuff, but still.
I think the whole fight was really just to set up the friendship. He was like, he was a nice guy to him. He was a nice guy back. He talked about a lot about how much he respected him. We find out shortly after the fight that the fight itself is really pictured that big of a too.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess I didn't bring this up. I mean, a lot of the settings for this fight is that each shaman participant has to at least win 2 fights, and
Right.
he lost one, but that doesn't mean he can't win the next 2. Which, based on what I think about him, I think he shows up later on too. So I think he does win the next 2 fights.
Do you know how many tries they get? Is it best out of 3? Is it best out of like?
It's 3 shots that they get. They get 3 fights each.
Right.
That's why they have to win 2. I mean, yeah, he's a nice guy. He really wants to protect the pixies things because like their habitat getting destroyed, which is interesting enough that this world that humans have that much effect on the spirit world. It's actually really interesting. Like you looking like that. I guess also we don't bring up the friendship. You also bring up Yo's whole like he wants to be. He never thought about it at first, but he like now he's gonna try to bring his dream into fruition. And he becomes Shaman King. So I think we're gonna start seeing a lot more of that. When the people that he fights is gonna take on their dream. Which I guess that makes his laid back personality the best fit for the king position because at least he doesn't really have much that he wants to do, but he'll help everybody else out.
Right. I like that about him. I like that they're already setting up that plotline. He's going to have to be pretty selfless in his pursuit, and he's already taken on a burden, like on his way to becoming king. I bet like it's going to be a lot harder for him to have a life as Shaman. This. If he keeps taking on
that whole, he wants to have like he wants to have a life that isn't trouble. That's his whole thing. As like that. I don't know why you're gonna be like. I don't think the king would have like a chill life. Because I mean, like, they keep on hearing all the like legends about who becomes king and whatnot. That doesn't seem like a chill life.
Yeah, it sounds like he's not going to get the life that he wants.
Like I'm here sitting here trying to figure out what's the exact wording that he used. Like I'm watching it all over again just to see. I don't want to miss it. But yeah, I mean, it shows that Yo is kind of outclassing him now after later on in episode 2 when he starts like swinging his sword, just destroying everything. Shocks Anna with the fact that how powerful he's gotten. Which is funny because like most of the time she's been like berating Yo the entire time. I guess another thing feels like the whole shaman battery thing. Are we going to see more weapons in the future that have spirit energy just imbued in it?
Could be. I wouldn't imagine they wouldn't be, right?
I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of like a throwaway line that they brought in there with Yo's, like the sword that
It is
Minamaru
not
and
a
Mosoki
throwaway line to
used.
me. They're setting up that you can have more than one ghost because the shaman that takes them under his wing has like five. So they're setting up that they can have more than one ghost, which they kind of hinted at before, like people trying to do this ghost. And they're setting up that these ghosts can manifest themselves in items. So what I think is going to happen from here, sooner or later, he's going to get another ghost and another item to put it in.
When I remember what know about this show, no, like very few shaman have multiple ghosts, and I think the only reason why Silva had one is because of the role that he was playing.
Yeah, but I think the shaman king is probably going to get at least.
Because I mean, well, so far no shaman has shown any interest besides Tower Ren. I don't think Tower Ren had two ghosts. I think he just wanted Amidamaro because Amidamaro was strong. He wanted to get rid of Bassan, but unfortunately he couldn't get rid of Bassan because he lost to Yo. But it's really weird that he wants Bassan when he uses a spear and Amidamaro doesn't fight with a spear. None of that really adds up.
You don't think that he'd get like a tactical spirit or a defensive spirit to go along with his offense?
No, because I mean, the Amidamaro shoulder plates acted like a shield. Like Yo has no interest. He has shown no interest in wanting multiple ghosts, and I highly doubt they're going to give that to him because it seems like the whole the whole bond is going to be between him and Minamaru. Now, if he gets another spirit, I mean, I can't stop the show from doing that. But I highly doubt, because at least when I remember, the greatest thing what I remember about the anime, like I said before, the anime wasn't faithful to the originals, so I can't even say for sure if the development that Yo went through in that show was as faithful as it should have been. I can't really imagine because like shamans speak to spirits. This is the first time I ever heard shamans having guardian ghosts. And ghost could mean plural anyway, because like I mean, ghost doesn't have to have S on it, but whatever it is, like I saw a higher spirit. I know I saw that, but as we get close, as we end the episode off here, well, we see Horo and Yo partying together, which is kind of funny. That's when we see Horo get dragged up by his little sister, who is upset that Yo beat him because she says that he ruined their dream. I don't understand how she believes that, considering he has two more chances to win, but whatever. She's just probably overreacting because her older brother got hurt. But so we see her for the first time, so we're probably gonna see her again. As we get to the end of the episode, they set up the next fight. Silva is warned from one of his friends that the next person he's going to be fighting is dangerous and he should quit while he's ahead. I remember that character, but I don't remember what was so dangerous about him, so that's gonna be interesting too. Oh, and I guess like I forgot this. Rai is gonna go off to find his guardian ghost apparently. I guess
Is that a comic side note though? Do you think?
What?
Is that a comic side note? Is he ever gonna be relevant?
If I remember, like I said, I don't know. This is the thing about it. I know when I remember from the original series, he got one, but I don't know if that was like an animator's they took a liberty on that one or he was supposed to. Because I mean, his specific character follows the concept that side character get introduced to main character, they become best friends through constant turmoil and getting involved in the main character's world. Usually unlock their power and they end up becoming a useful character later on. That's what his character usually follows, but I don't know if that was animator or manga. I want to say it was manga, but I don't really know. We'll have to find out. I know what you mean. He seems kind of silly. He doesn't seem like he would matter that much, but hey, I mean, there's been sillier characters in the past.
Yeah.
I guess with that, like that's the end of that. I mean, they set up for the next fight to make that one seem serious. They do set up where like a lot of like story elements, such as like the comet issuing the start of the fight, and also finding out that apparently they didn't say this in good words earlier, but apparently the fight begins in Tokyo, but I don't know where it ends. So we might be leaving Tokyo when the next phase starts.
So you're going on to the next episode point with your conversation. Are we not going to talk about the fact that the main character wore a pot leaf shirt through the entire episode?
What? I already talked about episodes like 5 and 6. Like I literally already, like we already talked about both of them.
In 6, he's wearing a pot leaf shirt. The entire episode.
Like a pot leaf. What are you talking about?
It's totally weed leaf.
What? What?
It's
What?
totally weed leaf.
Who are you talking about?
Cannabis.
No, who are you talking about?
The main character.
What do you mean a pot leaf? Like I saw that wearing his shirt, like wearing his clothes when he was younger.
He's wearing a white shirt with a big old green cannabis leaf.
I do not see this white shirt they're talking about. I see this black
The
shirt.
lazy main character.
No, I don't see.
The
I see the
episode.
white shirt, but I don't see any leaf on it.
You didn't notice that he was wearing a pot leaf the whole.
I'm looking right now. I don't see a leaf on his shirt.
I'm trying to find a screen grab to toss you in Discord, but here's one. Totally a cannabis leaf. I'm in Discord.
You talking about Manta when Manta was talking about like the roles of the tournament?
Look at the leaf.
I don't know if that was really cannabis leaf, and you could make the argument that it was, but manga creators a lot of times in a long time ago, they did put things into their series on character shirts
It's
and whatnot.
literally this common shirt that I
I've
just
seen it, but I'm saying like what I'm saying like I don't know if that was meant to make a statement or whatever, because like manga creators often put random things in their stuff. Because like you also, I don't know why you want to talk about that versus talking about the angel wings in the back of Monster's back. There's his alien's got a little halo on his hood.
Where is that? What's the timestamp?
512. It's the same thing where the cannabis leaf is. That you're making a big deal about, and I'm not gonna make a big deal because it's just random.
512 or 512 from the beginning?
What? 512 from the beginning?
End of the episode, or 5 minutes into the episode, or 5 minutes from the end of the episode?
5 minutes from the very beginning. 5 minutes in.
Okay. The screenshot I gave you was from the end of the episode. That's why I was thrown off.
Well, he was wearing it at the very beginning of the episode.
The back of his hoodie, that's what we're worried about?
Yeah, but he's also wearing it here too. That's where I saw it. And no one was gonna talk about it. I mean, like Yo's a laid back character. Of course, they're gonna make a smoke weed every day joke with him.
I thought it was pretty funny. It was like a little subtle, like Easter egg level hint. But I thought it was pretty funny.
I mean, I thought it was alright. I mean, they're just making fun of how laid back, and I mean, you might as well be high, from like his eyes and whatnot.
Pretty ironic. I enjoyed it.
I mean, I don't got much to say on that. Like, I mean, he looks like he's high all the day time. I mean, like, obviously they're gonna make that reference.
I was gonna become the king of Shaman, then I got high. Ooh.
With that, we're gonna just end the podcast now because before things become a little bit too crazy, we're gonna end it off here. Sorry guys, I'm not letting this continue. This is a train wreck that he started.
Now I'm getting married, and I don't know why. Because I got high. Because I got high. Because I got high. Ba-da-da-da-da-da.
We'll get high